Matt Helbig and Email Geeks. Is another Friday, another Feedback Friday.
What's up?
I'm such a big fan, really like fanboy fan of what Airbnb has been doing for a long time in their emails. They and Pinterest, I think, are always pushing the limits of what's possible. And this week, just like last week, I want to talk about some things that are happening that are actually in this really, really good category where things are interesting. They're doing great personalization. They're doing great typography, good design. It's intelligent and it serves the customer. So we'll dive right in.
Need help in creating really good, awesome email templates for your campaigns? Discover how Email Monks can make that happen in a snap. They are experts at designing and coding email templates at a great price. If you want to level up your email game, give Email Monks a try.
I got this email, I'm a host and really interested in building more. I'm going to add another one this year and hopefully some more in the coming years. And I was watching this little GIF here play out over and over. And then it dawned on me, wait, this little coin, this little badge actually shows up in South Carolina. And I'm thinking, hey, that's where I live. And it's like, oh, damn, they actually did that intentionally. And so this is a unique GIF for me. It's subtle. They don't even point that out. And in fact, I would argue they could probably point it out a little better. Maybe they didn't because if they get it wrong, it looks bad. But in this way, if I catch it, it's freaking cool, right?
I'm impressed. Even if it's not, it's still a very nice gift. But yeah, that's like a very interesting level of personalization.
I hadn't thought about it until we started talking, but I wonder if that's why they left the text off about it being, your space in South Carolina. I guess they should know because it's being sent to me based on my ID, based on my, booking. Mm-hmm. And the question would be, what do they do if I've got bookings in different states? I don't know. But regardless, I was pretty impressed. I would venture to guess that for most Airbnb hosts, they have one or two places in one city. But this is very cool. And also note that the map, when it's further out into the world, all those little dots are places from people that have stayed at my Airbnb.
This is like what people should be using this image personalization for. We always see like, hey, first name, that works okay, but this stuff is really like surprise and delight sort of stuff.
That's right. It feels intentional, it feels thoughtful, it feels connecting to me. The other thing too is I think that there's probably a business for somebody to start right here, which is developing motion graphics that can be converted into video or GIFs or other things that is personalized, right? It's using data, but being able to translate that to email. And or our friends at Nifty Images could develop something like this,
for sure.
Kevin. They're obviously doing so much personalization in email already. If you haven't used Nifty Images, we definitely recommend it. It's a really interesting tool to create or to utilize this kind of thing, not this sort of level of motion graphics, but using imagery with personalized data. It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, we'll go down the rest of this email. Yeah, there's a lot.
No, I want to stay just here for the next 25 minutes.
Okay.
All right. So as we keep going, one of the things that I really like about this email is we've talked about it before, but it's just real clear hierarchy. Mm-hmm. And everything is in text. Airbnb, they already have a sans serif font to start with, so they can, utilize some basic system fonts without having to go cuckoo. I think probably this lightweight, it might be a system font. I didn't do inspector, but just right off the bat, they're just taking care of those details and it keeps their emails pretty light. I imagine that GIF up top is fairly heavy size-wise. So some of these things keep the email size, the kilobytes low. They're just doing a great job of leading me in, telling me what's what. If all I want to do is just see this, wow, that's neat. Okay, I can react to it right here. And that's kind of fun.
Those social share things are a lot more compelling than emails that we've seen in the past that ask you to share right away. They really provided you some cool stats, a fun GIF. Now I'm really motivated to share this with my network.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, Matt, is it's really interesting when there's more of an opportunity to say, hey, here's this interesting information. Would you like to share it? Rather than share, like, what am I sharing? Like it's almost like somebody walking up to you and be like, hey, Matt, it's nice to see you here for lunch. Will you yell out to everybody how much fun you're having? But we haven't even started lunch. Like, what are you talking about? It's weird. Right? So why would we do that? So instead, create enough content, create enough interest where that's just a natural enjoyment, where somebody would want to share, hey, look at all the cool places I've had guests from, that kind of stuff. Digging in, again, we've talked about this with the Coinbase email last week, but really great, simple heading hierarchy. So darker and bold and bigger headings, and then a nice subheading or subtext that goes across the view and kind of creates some balance. And then just really simple little chunks of information. Again, when we use headings, we create scannable content, right? So, oh, marketing to guests, that interests me. Or maybe it doesn't. Social spotlight, don't care. Ooh, Airbnb magazine. Yep, I want to read more about that. Tell me more. So that scannability helps me to very quickly decide, what do I want to read? What do I don't? I don't have to digest the entire thing, which for a busy person, I'm like, man, I get bored easily. I have some ADD and I'm like, I don't think so. I'm not going to read this, too much to read. So scannability helps a ton. Illustrations, icons, they just feel like they all belong. They're all the same type. And then like what we talked about last week, you've got nice white space between these. Mm-hmm. I would even increase that if it were me by another 10 pixels or something like that between these, just for a little bit more breathability. Now, the heading really helps create, okay, this is the next chunk of information. And the fact that the space underneath social spotlight here is less than what's above it, that makes all the difference. That's really all you need. But again, I would probably increase it just a little bit.
My only feedback in that section would be, I thought there would be links on each of these sections, but that bottom, if you're going to mention Airbnb magazine, maybe link to it or something. But I think that bottom kind of catch-all link that says, the Superhost week, definitely captures all those points and probably puts you to a nice landing page.
So. Yeah, that's a good point. Some of this stuff isn't real actionable, but I wonder if they could say, like we did last year, or like this article we wrote, and those kinds of things, right? I think learn more about this change and Superhost week. I would have put a little bit stronger CTA on something like that, but maybe somebody along the line said, nah, that's too strong to do a button. One thing that I've noticed that Airbnb has is they have a design system. So they're extremely tight about the typography, which means that they're able to create and send their emails much more rapidly, right? They're worrying more about content rather than how it looks, because they've figured out the system for how it should look. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like that sign up. There's a lot of really great copy, throughout this entire email. It's really thoughtful, it seems like. As you said, too, I think a lot of their emails are built on that same templating system. They all feel really consistent across both the host and the guest side. They all feel like, they're very thought out and mindful. So
yeah, that's right. As we mentioned last week, I'm impressed with a big company like this not having a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo in the bottom. That's always something that I think is really valuable. If Airbnb can do it without a bunch of legal, so can you. If legal on your team says you need a bunch of copy, see if you can get away with just linking to the legal on your site. I think that is my hypothesis. I have no legal background. My hypothesis, based on working at a lot of big startups, is that legal just needs to be available. It doesn't have to be readable in that email. So don't obfuscate it. Don't try and hide it. Make it a clear link. But there's other opportunities. And again, it's more kind to your visitor, right? It's more thoughtful. They can see the legal if they need to. Because most of that legal is not about the customer. It's not actually serving them. It's just covering the company's butt. Cover your butt in the back room, not in front of everybody. Well, maybe that doesn't work out. I don't know. Maybe that metaphor falls apart. Cover your butt all the time, probably. But just, in real life, not legally.
The entire idea behind this email is customer appreciation. Airbnb doesn't seem to have a business goal in this entire thing. They want you to share on, Twitter and maybe get some additional hosts to sign up that way or something like that. But this is just a very customer-centric email to send. It's really celebrating these super hosts and their community and everything else. Compared to a lot of the other promotional emails that we see people do or things around holidays, this is just a celebration of Superhosts and building Airbnb as brand, and they do it super successfully with this email.
100%. I think you're right. As a Superhost, I've been really thankful for the way that they treat us. It's a lot of hard work to get there and to maintain that, but it's worth it. It's good for them to support those of us who try harder and push it further. but you feel it. You feel well supported. So this is cool.
They have so many ways to communicate with you, and it's interesting that they pick email pretty consistently to communicate a lot of these messages to you. I mean, they have the app, they have the web, everything else, but I think their focus on email especially definitely stands out compared to a lot of other brands.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought of that until you said that, but you're absolutely right. I don't get any of these kinds of messages in app. This is the way they communicate to me. They do have a kind of a all hands on deck host community event, like where you can watch online. And I've not done that. I'd like to, but this is how I learn about that too. It's funny to hear people always talk about like email someday going to die. And I just think, no, we haven't even hit our stride. There's so much opportunity. And the more that people communicate thoughtfully like this, the more I believe that. All right, dude. Well, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Great. See you. Bye.
Ciao.